All right, so we're officially live, and they can hear us talking, but I'll let the thing play for a little bit.
Okay.
Hey, we have some immediate viewers, which is pretty cool. Hey, viewers.
Nice.
Sometimes I never know like how the thing, pushes itself out to everyone's phones and computers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sometimes it just decides not to, so it's always exciting when it does. But
We're not alone.
all right. We're gonna bring the sound down, and we'll swap to the next view. Here we are. We are in the studio. I'm here with Deleta Hodges. Super excited to have her in studio. Welcome to Noah's Groovecast. This is a podcast that I'm doing kind of every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. as it makes sense to do it. I don't know what else to say about it other than that. I don't think I have any kind of announcements. So I'll just say I'm really excited to have Deleta in the studio with me and excited to get to talk. This is the first time having comedy on, I don't think she's doing a comedy set, but just a comedian, and she's going to be doing some music as well. She's got a friend in here that's going to be playing some keys as well. And we're just going to be talking about, I think, stage performance, music, comedy, all that kind of stuff. And I think that's all I have to say. I usually have like different announcements about events coming up and whatnot. But maybe we can segue into, I have a question that I was going to ask about one of Deleta's events, but I'm going to ask it a little bit later. Okay. But let's just bring Deleta on. Why did it do that? No, stop.
Okay.
It just had its own mind. What's up, Deleta? How's it going?
Going well. How are you doing, Noah?
Pretty good. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming and doing this with me.
Thank you for having me.
And let's see. Well, let's start with like why don't you just tell a little bit about yourself? I know you primarily as a comedian, but I've seen you sort of running promotion for a stage play and kind of organizing all that stuff.
Right.
I know that you do music as well. I've heard some recordings that you've done. I've seen you perform at different venues from time to time, especially when I've been around Sensational Vibes in Eugene, or maybe that's even before it was called Sensational Vibes. So you're a multifaceted person, but could you just maybe tell us who you are, a little bit about how you would define yourself?
Yes. Okay. So I am a comedian, musician, singer, actress. If I was to sum it all, I would like to be called a comedic entertainer because I like to sing and tell jokes, sometimes at the same time. So that's where I'm headed towards, that title of a comedic entertainer. Right now, I'm an entertainer, Yeah. I'm pushing the comedy more so than anything else. But I can't forget those other things that I have, those other gifts that I have. I want to use everything, that was given to me.
And I've seen that live at your show at the Magical Memories events place where you put on a couple shows and you implemented a lot of music. You were definitely like a comedy show host. That's the role you were taking on.
Right.
But you implemented a lot of music yourself. I mean, you had musicians involved. You had singers that came as a part of that. But you yourself made that a part of how you were hosting.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. I really don't. Maybe have you?
I've never seen it. I don't think. But I heard that Cedric the Entertainer. That's how he got his name, the Entertainer, because he would dance. I think he would do other things. He wasn't really a comedian. I need to go back and watch some footage, but I've heard that's how he got his name, the Entertainer, because he did multiple things on stage. So yeah,
Gotcha.
I would love to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we can start talking about just a little bit about those shows, and I'll dig into it again a little bit later. But
Okay.
Just what was it like putting on these comedy shows on the local level and what you've been doing? What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, it has been very fun. I kind of fell in the producer seat. It kind of just happened. Last year we did the stage play, White Choices, and then the producer, she had to work out of town, for a long period of time. So I was helping with marketing, but when the producer, had to go out of town, I had to kind of fill in the producer role. So that's kind of when that happened. And then we did as a part of marketing, I wanted to do a comedy show to showcase a scene from the play. So that was the first show I did, produced.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a free event, but we had good entertainment. We had the band, we had comedians, and I wasn't calling it a producer at the moment, but when I look back at it, I was like, I produced a show,
Yeah.
Even the play, I kind of planned it out, the MC and what would happen. I said, okay, I produced that. So looking back, that's kind of how I fell into that. It kind of just happened, and then I knew I wanted to kind of birth that vision of clean, fun comedy show. So we did the play, as the sponsor of the show. But that's when I introduced that clean, fun comedy show brand. So yeah, it's been fun. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it pays off.
Let me ask, what got you into stage performance in general? What was your first love? Like, were you first drawn to laughing? Were you first drawn to music? What kind of got you in moving in this direction?
Laughter. My family is very comedic.
Okay.
My mother was super comedic. I think she could have been a comedian, really. So comedy was in the house. That's kind of how we dealt with our everyday life, is using comedy. So, and I remember even in elementary school, I remember wanting to be a comedian. And I'm still not sure who I saw. I don't remember seeing anyone on TV, actually. But I would watch David Letterman every night. So I don't know, maybe that could could be it. But I just knew I wanted to be a comedian. And I would have like my cousins and friends, like a little group. And I would go home and prepare jokes for them. And I would go back and tell them the next day.
Yeah.
So I was doing it already, but I was going to be a lawyer.
Okay. Yeah.
So I didn't know, you didn't know who's going to school to be a comedian, or what do you do? How do you get into that? So that was my thoughts in elementary. It kind of just went away. I became a musician at a young age, playing in church. Maybe about the age of 8 or so, I think I got my first keyboard maybe and started playing. So music kind of took over. Music and playing music and singing. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that did. Yeah, no, that's a good answer. Okay, so let's talk a little more about the shows at the Magical Memories and and putting those on. You said it was a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
What is some of that goes into that? Like, was it more than you expected? Was it, or you kind of knew what it was going in, or
no, I didn't.
Process?
It's still a learning process.
Yeah.
The first one was kind of a breeze.
Okay.
It was a free event. The entertainers, they got paid, but the people didn't pay to get in. But it was just kind of easy. So I was like, I could do this,
Yeah.
The next one, let's see. The next one was the first official one. All right. We have people paying to get in. So that one was fun, exciting. I was a little nervous with ticket sales, but it came out very well. I think the third one, it started to get tricky for me. Yeah, I don't know. It is, yeah.
Do you want to go into that at all? Like, I'm curious. Okay, so I'm curious from the standpoint of, I was thinking to get into this a little bit later, but that's okay if we're there. Okay, for anybody that's watching it, I feel like. What was the name? You called it Clean Fun Comedy Show.
Clean Fun Comedy Show.
I'll ask something about that too.
Well, I first called it Clean Fun Comedy Show and More.
Okay.
But I eventually dropped that and more off. It's whatever.
So this was a really cool local event. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'll say it for myself, but I think it was really
really
cool.
As our sound tech, you were our sound.
Yes, I got to be there. I got to run some sound, and but I thought it was. It's a really cool event that you were pulling in some regional talent. No, I mean you had some people that have
national
national talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she had some national talent that was coming in there, but you were also having some of the local people
Right.
open up for it. So you really made that thing happen. I mean, you really put something together, and that created opportunities for people. And then not only that, you created opportunities for musicians as well.
That's true.
And I'm a big fan of Wanda.
Yeah.
I like Wanda a lot, and I just think that was such a neat opportunity for her.
Yes, yes.
But just in general, creating opportunities for local people to get the chance to share the same stage, and you pack the room, and it was. People were laughing their tails off.
Yes.
It
Oh
was
my God.
really funny. It was a really, really good night, and
Yes.
and I mean, I just think you crushed it. You knocked it out of the park.
Thank you.
And so I feel like and nevertheless there still are difficulties with trying to
Yeah.
pull it all together. This, to me, it came as a surprise, because I would have thought, I mean, it was so, you did such a great job with the event that I just thought there's not a chance in the world that this thing is gonna struggle.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And I don't think, I mean, when I say that, I feel like I'm speaking too strongly, because the first event was off the chain. The second event had a little bit less of attendance, but it was still really good.
Yes.
And
the
so,
laughter, we laughed. Oh my God, like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't, I mean, it like, to me, you had a winning recipe. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. So I don't know if you want, is that something you want to talk about in terms of any of the difficulties, or?
Yeah. So and there are levels to it. There are different things that plays into it. One thing, I don't really have a team, so that is a big thing. But I got it done. My sister's a big help. My niece, they help, here and there, but mainly it's just me. And so this year I've had some personal things to happen, and that kind of took my attention, and not having that team to kind of put it all together, that's kind of where the struggle came.
Sure.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
100%. Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, that's a I don't know if I should say I'm glad to hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad to hear. I'm not glad to hear that there are struggles. I mean, the team thing. I mean, that's something that you could probably solve. That's its
Right.
own challenge.
Right. Find the right people. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm glad to hear, because like, I've seen a lot of local events. I don't know that I would say I'm the expert, but it's kind of like what I've done with my life,
Yeah.
like, so I feel like I have a pretty good sense of how local events can go. And I just thought you did that. I wouldn't see, I feel like the energy was all there. Is go.
Yeah,
So I was really excited for all that. Okay, let me ask you about your life as a stage performer, and just kind of, maybe you could share a little bit about different stage performance experiences. What are some of your favorites? What's the kind of stuff you really like to do? Are there any particular kinds of shows? Or I'm a comedy fan. I'm a student. I've
Nice.
even done a little comedy myself.
Nice.
We might talk about that a little bit. I don't know. I'm not a lot, but I've dipped my toe.
Okay.
And so I'm not so familiar with all the different kinds of opportunities there are, but maybe you could just talk a little bit about that kind of thing, like different places you've done comedy or music, stage
Okay.
performance in general.
Yeah, I'll start with. I was going to start with comedy, but I'll kind of bring in music, because I grew up in a Christian family. Grew up in church as a young person. Stayed in church a lot. Like, throughout the week, it was school and church. So because of that's how I learned to play. My mom would be in church meetings. So I was like, well, let me find something to do while I'm here. So I picked up the keyboard, and then the keyboard was kind of hard, but I knew I had rhythm. So I was like, I can play that drum, I think, So I went to the drums, So church is really my foundation, and faith is my foundation. So when I got into comedy, Christian comedy became easy for me. Like, the first time I did Christian comedy, it just worked. And I was a Christian comedian. It just worked from there the first time. So Christian comedy, and doing faith-based events are the easiest for me. But here lately, I'm trying to branch out into more mainstream. So yeah, I'm branching out, and that's interesting journey there as well. I prefer Christian comedy, but when I do mainstream, that is a push for me, and I like it. Urban comedy is like way outside of my comfort zone.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So Christian, what's or you say you prefer Christian comedy?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because if you know me on a very personal level, and I joke around a lot, so and if you know me on that level, it's usually like a churchy kind of joking. So that comes natural to me. Okay. It's just my comfort zone. Okay. Yeah.
So you put on the Clean Comedy Show, and is this kind of your effort in a way to go more? I don't know what word. More secular, or I don't know what word you
mainstream probably would
more
be.
Mainstream.
Yeah.
Is that kind of a push to take kind of what you're doing and what you've been doing over here and move and pull in a more mainstream audience?
In a way, let's see. I didn't want it to be in a box, but I also wanted to keep my values. So to combine the two, I didn't only want church people in my shows. I wanted a variety of people, but I wanted to be comfortable and feel like I really supported my values as well.
So is part of that a push to bring these values of yours that are kind of involved with the church? Is part of your motivation that you wanted to reach a more mainstream audience to help get these values out there?
Yes, that too.
To help people wake some people up and bring that over.
Yeah, that too. I do see everything I do as ministry, so that is a thing as well. But also to show people that you can have a good time, you can have fun, and you don't have to do these crazy stuff. We don't have to curse the whole night to have fun, or we don't have to talk about crazy topics to have fun. We can have a good time, and it can be pure and clean.
I love that, and I love that you somebody's got to do it.
Right.
Somebody's got to push it out there. It's like somebody's because otherwise it can I say the word it becomes degenerate. Mm-hmm. I mean, like just life in general. If we're not trying to uphold better values and overall just somebody's got to make that effort to try to push the more noble pursuits out there. And I love doing it through the comedy, and I feel like you don't see that very much in comedy.
And even this is a thing too, it also the people that I've had on my shows, the comedians, some of them, the local talent, they're not clean comedians. Yep. So it pushed them to prepare clean, material.
100%.
So it helped them to grow,
100%.
Yeah.
It was we'll say that it didn't end up being completely clean. Can I say that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's really yeah.
But it was, the effort was there, and that was the goal. It was that was what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But
we're striving, just like your life.
Yes.
We're striving to get there.
Yes.
And not to say the other comedy, if it's not like squeaky clean, it's not is wrong or whatever.
True.
But
yes.
And I've been asked multiple times, even by some of the performers, because they have to have the songs approved by me, because there's a certain message I want to messages I want to get out. There's a certain vibe I want in the room. So they have to have the songs approved. The jokes, no, I just kind of tell them, don't do this or whatever. But, and I've been asked multiple times, well, why is it a clean show?
Yeah.
Why? And it just makes sense to me, because I'm a clean comedian. I mean, it just goes with who I am, Yeah. You can go to another show and you can do whatever. But if you want to be on the Clean Fun Comedy Show, you have to be clean. It's a nice attempt to be clean.
It's a nice challenge too, and it was cool to see even like really experienced comedians kind of being put in that frame where they need to like your headliners, or even some of the opening acts that have been doing it for a while. that they had to try to figure out, it like
Yeah.
what of their like it's a limit, it's a limitation, and in some way maybe to an extent it's a crutch. You know what I mean? Like that you rely on, like there's it's low hanging fruit. You know what I mean? Like there's some aspects of comedy that I feel like it's low hanging fruit. You know what I mean? Not necessarily the clean stuff, but it sort of forced you to try to think of how to be funny when I can't use this, when I can't use this, and it was cool to see people work under that. I don't know. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and it's not like we're not. And even the slip ups, they're funny. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm like, oh my goodness, you did this or you did that. We're just there to have fun, Yeah.
All right, let's talk about using music in the comedy shows. So, and then maybe we can play a song. If you guys, whenever you guys want to.
Yeah, maybe a little later, maybe.
A little bit later. Okay. All right. So, using music in the comedy shows. So, a lot of times when you're introducing the comedians, you're kind of warming up the audience.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting things going. You're having some banter, and then at some point, at least when I've seen you are breaking into song.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's an every time thing, but at some point you do, and it's so cool because you really get everybody in on it, and it's the third wall is gone. There's no third wall. Everybody's in it, and you're just having maybe it's like church. I don't know, but you're just having a time together where everybody is just. Everyone's present. You can all feel each other, and it's just really about being together and feeling each other, and that kind of thing. And I just thought that's so neat because most of the shows that I see, it's always, I've got the microphone, and you are leading it, but you get everybody, you get everybody feeling something. And
one of the main focuses is on the audience. I want the audience to have a good time. So even though I'm producing this show, it's not about me. I want you to come and I want you to kind of, we have all kind of things going on, right? So when you come to one of my shows, I want you to kind of just forget all that, at least for those 2 hours. So that's why my focus is on the audience having a good time.
So you tend to kind of really get there with the music, or I don't know if that's completely correct. Like, well, I mean, in terms of that, the better way to say it is the role that music has in your opening, or how it has a very special role in kind of how you get the audience warmed up. And I don't know, maybe I'm not sure exactly what the question is in there, but just like I know, sorry, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
But as a host, your job is to bring the people together. When they come through the door, they're just individuals, You have this family, you have this couple, you have them. But you as the host have to make them an audience. So I think as I was telling you off camera, I'm quite introverted, right? So I may not feel as comfortable as the first person on stage. I may not feel as comfortable going up there and saying something, but I can maybe rely on the band to help me and start with a song to get them together. So I try to use what I can to get it going. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's run off that. So I mean that surprised me because you come across as pretty a natural. You seem fairly comfortable up there on stage, and but in particular. That a stage performer would be an introvert. Why did you do that to yourself?
I ask myself that sometimes. And yeah. It's like something that you have to do.
Okay.
It's like a burden. Like it's a call, and you just have to do it. You have to do it because this is really not me, but it is me. So yeah. You just know.
So okay, let's talk about before we got the stream started, we talked about a little bit about sort of stage performance tricks. I remember you were talking about we didn't want to do a camera angle from above because it's like the audience is looking down on you.
Right.
Right. So, I'll segue with saying I think to some extent being an introvert is not a skill, but a benefit. It puts you in a different position. That maybe it's like a superpower for being a stage performer, because I don't know, maybe I'm just sort of making this up, or I'm just kind of trying to think about this right now.
Yeah.
It's because I feel the very same way. I'm an introvert, and
Okay.
somehow I got into stage performance,
Yeah.
and I felt like I just had to. I don't know why, but I felt like I had to, and I was just drawn to it, and I just felt like I had to. And the weirdest thing is at the beginning, and I know that this is not an uncommon experience. It's not just me. At the beginning, I was very afraid of being on stage, but eventually, there's no other place I'm more comfortable.
Yes. Yes.
Because I know if I'm on stage, that's where I know things are gonna go okay. Like if I'm out there having to mingle with everyone, I'm like,
Right.
I'm gonna say
Right.
something wrong. I'm gonna aggravate this person, and then they're gonna tell this person, and then now, now I've got 3 people that don't like me, and I don't know what to say to change that, and then now they're gonna tell their friends, and then when I go up on stage, I don't know. The more I can I want to interact, and maybe that's just me, but like,
No, I can relate to that. Yeah, even after a performance, like a comedy show,
Yeah.
and it went well. So you have that high,
Yeah.
personal high, but the people are excited too. So afterwards, they want to meet you and greet you, and they still want to joke. But I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, that's over.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still a jokey person, but it's just different. Being on the stage is different, and having that microphone, it's like when I step on that stage and get that microphone, it's something different.
I don't. There's something different between like, in some way, it's just a vocation like anything else. Like you learn how to do different skills. Like
Right.
And so, but then because it's so in front of everything, like because you're put on a stage,
Yeah.
that it like when people want to meet you after, they have this kind of glorified image,
Right.
and so that's a whole thing. But I was trying to make some weird point, but I'll just let it go. And let's just say about stage performance in general being, well, yeah, you maybe I already asked about being an introvert and being drawn to stage performance. I guess I asked that. Why did you do that to yourself? But okay, let's talk about some of the sort of tricks. Okay, yeah, the point that I was going to make, and then I'll shut up. But the point that I was going to make is like being an introvert, you look at it differently, because I think you kind of look at it in this more technical way.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with that. Okay.
I don't know if that has something to do with being an introvert, but maybe because you're not just so naturally like you just exude charisma and you kind of have to learn how to do it, and you learn different things. Like if the camera is looking down on you, it's naturally going to immediately make the audience feel like they're looking down on you.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of different little things. So what are some of these things that you've learned through doing stage performance that you feel like this made a difference when you learned this? Oh, and it's like, oh wow, okay, I understand how this works. I don't know, it's different little things like that.
Let's see here. There is a comedian. He's a nationally touring comedian. We were actually going to have him for the next show. His name is Philly Plowden. And I met him very early in my career, comedy career. And he's the one that taught me a lot of the psychology of comedy.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. It's like it all just went blank, but I'm trying to think like, okay, even he taught me that, as a female comedian, you have to get the women on your side and do it early.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Because if you don't have the women, you don't have the men, because mostly they're couples,
Okay.
in comedy shows. So if the woman is not laughing, the man, if he has good sense, he's not going to laugh,
Okay.
So yeah, just being mindful of that, and also being mindful of including the men, including everyone. Sometimes you'll hear people, if there's an audience of mixed sexes, you'll hear them say, girl, this, yeah, girl. Well, who are you talking to? Okay, so
Yeah.
you've left the men out.
Okay.
Or even if a guy gets up there and say, yeah, dude, which I know dude is used interchangeably, but yeah, dude, I'm telling you, then you left the women out.
Yeah.
So I don't use those words. You know, I try to be mindful of those words to kind of include everyone. I try to have jokes that a lot of men don't think that females are funny. So I have that in my head, you know. So a lot of comments I've seen on different female comedians videos is that men say that they do a lot of men bashing. So I have jokes that it may seemingly think that I'm on the women's side, but I'll kind of twist it on the end and bring the men in. So just, you know, those kind of things as well. Being mindful of what you're wearing, you know, that's important too. You don't want to be too flashy, you know, but you don't want to be too underdressed. You know, that's something as well. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
No,
when you're going to a new place or a different town or something, as an icebreaker, you want to kind of mention something that's going on. Even for any show, you want to kind of break it. Use an icebreaker as something that's common to everyone. You know, you don't have to get up there with a joke. You know, you can say a silly something or just a fact or something that they all can relate to. You know.
No, that's smart.
Yeah.
So just being thoughtful about who your audience is.
Right.
And being prepared. Part of that's being prepared, like from a content standpoint. About attire, like clothing. So I used to never, I never cared about style, but for me, I just thought you should just wear whatever you want. I don't know. It's just that you should wear whatever you're comfortable in, and who cares? Because that's the most important thing, is that you should feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. And everybody that cares, who cares? But then, you know, after doing stage performance for a long time, it's like, no, you kind of need to be really, like, you really need to know what you're wearing. And
right.
I'm really particular about it. And like from venue to venue or anything, I'm very conscious of what I'm wearing, because I realized that before I say a word.
Yes.
Yes. And so I don't know if there's how did you learn that, or is there anything like you found the same thing? Are there any shows in particular that come to mind where you're like, oh, I wore the wrong thing, or I don't know, like. Or I should have worn a little bit more of this.
No, I'm very cautious about that. Yeah. That's never an issue because I'm cautious of that. What I was going to say, I heard one female comedian said that she feels more received when she have on darker clothing, you know. So you don't like, she doesn't want to wear like a light pink. It kind of makes you soft, you know, maybe.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Yeah.
So she feels, better received by everyone, or I guess the men, with darker clothing on.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for me, a lot of times, like if I'm playing like at a backyard party or something, or like especially if there's a pool, then I feel like I can wear. I probably should wear flip flops. But then I should still wear a button down. Like if I can wear something casual but still a button down.
Oh yeah.
You know, something that, and so then that kind of like lets people know, like, okay, he's casual. He kind of it sets the cue for other people to an extent, right?
Right.
And it lets them know of what they can expect, because you're like you're this person on the stage, and they're gonna look at what's this person wearing. Okay, what does that say about the kind of place we're in? And I don't know. I think
there's
that stuff's
levels.
so interesting.
There's levels to it. I've heard that you should always, or maybe you should always be a step above the audience in your dressing. So if they whatever they have on, you need to be like a step.
Yeah.
Because you're putting on a show. So, but there's no like one way fits all. I feel, you know.
That's true.
Yeah, and it's also very much trial and error.
Yeah. It's an interesting process. Clothes. I don't know. It's like, but it really does. It's so funny because as getting into music, you think it's all about the music, and you need to know. But then you realize there's all these other things.
So much shoes, you know.
Yeah.
Do you wear heels or do you not wear? I mean, you don't wear heels.
I don't have to do it.
But that's a thing too, you know.
Yeah.
You go to this fancy event and you know you're more comfortable without the heels, but it's like, you know, you just gotta kind of fit in as well, you know. So.
Yep. Yeah. And the staging, we could even talk about staging to a degree. Like, there's different stages. Are there, like, you've probably had this experiment. You can think
Yep.
of specific ones where like, just when you see the stage, you're like, oh, or yeah.
Yeah, I had this just happen to me. Was that March? Yeah, I went to Ohio, and there's this small comedy club, and I was sitting back there, and I look at the stage. They have the stairs. You walk up to the stage, like in the front of the stage. You walk up to it, and I didn't like that. I mean, that's weird. Why would you have you walk up? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Like you don't come behind the stage. You don't come to the side.
Walk up the stairs right in front of everybody.
It's so weird. I'm like, what? And then also, the producer mentioned that stage was too high.
Oh, okay.
Not for safety reasons, but it was too high up from the audience.
Okay.
So that's so that's something too.
Yeah. The height of the stage, it really makes a difference. It's really interesting because you kind of have to change how you do things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like like you have to your approach. Like if the stage is really really low, then it just kind of forces you. It doesn't force you, but I don't know, all those dynamics. It's the conditioning that's in. You have to contend with that. You have to contend with that because that's going to condition the minds to a large extent of who's there. They're all observing the same stuff, and then the stage. That's funny. The stairs walking up the stairs
Like
in front
why?
of. Yeah.
I really didn't like that. I really didn't. But also, I wanted to mention going back to our shows that I did the Clean Fun Comedy Show.
Yeah.
I think another reason why it's so successful. We have a good time because it's so intimate. We're close together in there, It's not room for you not to be laughing over there, So I like those intimate spaces where we can all be together and have fun.
I honestly, I kind of said I like kind of the low stages. I actually like low stages.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't really need some big stage because it highlights you, it highlights whoever's on the stage. But when it's really low, it just feels like you could very easily just walk off the stage and become part of the audience.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Yeah,
I love that. Okay, what do you think the steps? What do you think that did? Like, what do you think? Why was that? I have ideas, but like, I would just off the cuff right away. It's like, no, that's kind of weird.
It's weird, and it wasn't 1, it wasn't 2 or 3. It was like 5 or so.
Steps.
Yeah. So it's like the host. Here comes Deleta Hodges.
Yeah.
So like I'm walking 1, 2. Just take the time that you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you turn, and then I don't like it. When you get on stage, the people, they see you before they hear you, right?
Yeah.
So if you were to come on a regular stage, like from the back, they already need time to kind of settle in. I got the hair, so they got to look at you. Okay, all right, all right. So it's just that much more weirder when I'm coming from the back, and they're looking at the back and the front.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
And they just watch you like go up some stairs. Like, I'm going to the top.
It wasn't right.
All right, let's talk about sound real quick. So like the same kind of concept. You have an ear for sound. You know what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Like when you want the sound to be a little bit louder. Like the sound in the room also is going to have a big impact, right, on what. So for me, there have been many times. Like I just had an event like a couple weeks ago, where I was in this sort of roof. Or like top floor area that was all glass windows, so you could see around like the city skyline of Savannah, and it was really cool.
Nice.
But all the walls, there was just all hard walls and nothing to absorb the sound, and it wasn't a very big room, and there were just a lot of people, and so I just knew, and there was all these weird angles, and so I knew there is no way I'm gonna be able to put out a sound that's gonna work in this space.
Right.
And of course, like 15 minutes into it, the people are like, it was insane how loud everyone was. Like they were so loud, but within 15 minutes, there were like a couple people standing right next to the freaking speakers, saying, "Hey, can you turn down? You're too loud. It's way too loud." And it's like, but if you're not loud, you can't do what you need to do.
Right.
You got to be a certain volume level, or the people can't feel you. They can't feel it, and on some, I feel like they have to be able to feel it. It's got to hit them in the chest a little bit. They got to be able to feel it in the chest a little bit.
Yeah.
And do you see that with comedy? With when you're speaking in a microphone, you need a certain amount of sound. Or it's a different, yeah.
So first of all, that is why I always hire you as my sound guy, because that's very important to me, especially. And we have the element of the band.
Yeah.
So I really want that in the singers. So we really want that to mesh together well. But also with the comedy, okay, we need, the people need to hear the jokes. You know,
Yes.
You can have a funny joke, but if the mic is cutting out or if is this feedback, you know, that's going to be a hindrance to the show. So, and I always feel the most comfortable when I have a good microphone. It's like I know I'm going to do well. I don't know. I just feel it. It's the microphone. So
It's you, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. It's like another power. I'm like, yeah, this is a good microphone, you know.
Yeah.
So that's very important, very important.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I noticed they don't know how to hold a microphone.
Yeah, that's true.
Not saying I'm an expert, but I'm pretty sure it needs to go to your mouth, you know.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. It's yeah. I've been to a whole bunch of times where I've been running sound for like speeches, you know, at like weddings or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And people just don't know how to hold microphones, and then everyone's like, "Can you turn them up?" It's like, I can't. I don't know. It's already about. It's like literally about to feed back. You know, it's like on the verge of screaming into everybody's ears, and but people just need, they're holding the microphone like.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? And I do a lot of private events, and I don't know who's watching, but I mean it's the truth. I do a lot of private events, and you know, people, they're not sound technicians, so they have like a little, I don't know what you call it, like a Bluetooth little
Sure.
thingy, which some of those Bluetooth speakers are nice, but some are not. And so, yeah.
Like
so,
a Bluetooth speaker, like
Yeah,
a Bluetooth
like
speaker
a-
for pushing the sound for your audio.
For me to do
Yeah.
comedy, you know,
Yeah.
just a little small hookup. And
Yeah.
those are the most challenging. It's rough.
Yeah.
Those are hard.
Do you just ditch it? Sometimes, like you ever just ditch it?
So I try, especially now, I try to figure out what they have beforehand.
Yeah.
Because I have a little something, you know, at home I could bring, but
Gotcha.
in some cases, you just have to do it. I try to
Yeah.
do the best with the sound that I can to tweak it a little bit, and then I'm very mindful of the way I hold the microphone when I'm performing.
Yeah.
So that helps sometimes. Sometimes some of the mics, they catch all the breathing. And if you're doing a comedy set, you know, there's a lot of breathing. So sometimes I'll do the mic like this, you know, in between certain phrases. So it's just a lot going on, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the sound is weak, like what if you describe right away, if you're going from a Bluetooth speaker, I feel like I'm hearing a sound in my head.
It's bad.
That's like, yeah, it's just like how do you work with that? Because like
It's hard.
there's a wall. There's a new wall. It's like
Exactly.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I can do it because I've watched
Okay.
some videos of me and I'm dissecting what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, like holding the mic like this
Okay.
sometimes, you know. And
Yeah.
I've watched the video. I'm like, look at all the stuff I'm doing in this video.
Yeah.
Like I'm monitoring how my voice is coming over.
Yeah.
You know, I'm being present with the audience. It's a lot of things that go. My mind is like, you know.
Yeah.
And so so you don't want to add another wall, like you said, another thing, but
Yeah.
you just have to go with it.
Yeah, just any. That's why actually, this is why it's not fair. There's no harder time to be a musician or be a comedian or be like a performing stage performer than at the beginning. Like it's the hardest time because I mean, of course, at the very beginning, you're just learning your skills.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's like a phase where you're working in spaces that are just more difficult to work in. Like so when you have a beautiful, gorgeous stage with state-of-the-art sounds and an audience that's all paid $50 to come and be there, they already value it before they ever
Yes.
sat down.
Yes.
then that's just a way easier condition to come
It
into.
is. It is.
And that said, I don't want to do that yet. Because then you can still bomb. You can still.
Yeah, but having an
wanna say that.
audience for comedy, having an audience that came ready to laugh,
Yes.
or even if they get ready while they're there, maybe the host make them extra ready.
Yeah.
That is important. I know some people would be like, well, if you're funny, you'll make us laugh. But no,
Yeah.
you need to be willing to laugh and ready to laugh. That's a thing.
It is. The audience is. You guys make like it's such a thing. Like you're kind of work like with songs. For a long time, I thought I'm learning songs and I'm learning how to make music.
Mm-hmm.
But then eventually, I learned no, I'm just getting tools. I've got tools, and really, I'm learning how to read the audience, and I'm playing the audience.
Yes.
Everything I do now, like from sound, it's about what is going to make an impact on the audience.
That's it.
I try to enjoy myself. I want to be enjoying myself and having a good time for myself. If I'm not having fun, then the audience is probably not going to have fun. Like it's going to come through, right? So I need to have fun, but then I'm just listening to the audience, and if they are like this, then I do more of this.
Right.
If it's too loud or it's too high end or it's too whatever, I just try to find what works for them, what types of songs, and I'm just playing you guys. And so then your state, it makes a huge difference.
Yes.
It can be really hard, and then it can be so easy and so fun, and that's up to you guys. So I don't know. That's
when you were talking, it reminded me of this book
Yeah.
I read that helped me, because I still get anxious, I still get nervous, before shows, but it's better now, just kind of shifting your mindset. But a few years ago, it was hard, So I read this book. I think it's called "So You Think You're Funny." I think that's the name of it, or if not, it's close to that. So You Think You're Funny, and that book really helped me because it was like, it taught me that it's not about me, even though I am the one, telling the jokes or whatever. It's about the audience, and that really stuck to me. And it says that the audience more than likely wants you to win.
Yeah.
They're not there just to kind of see you fail. Like, if they pay their money, they want to laugh, and they are hoping that you're funny. So that kind of helped me shift my mindset. Okay, they're rooting for me, until I make them not root for me, So yeah,
That's a really good thing to remember.
I recommend that book. I need to read it again, actually. So You Think You're Funny.
Yeah, it can be really easy. Like that's just a really good thing to remember, and I think it's fundamentally true because you can always think, you can be very critical of your own self,
Right.
and you can think like, that people are judging you for this or this or this.
Right.
But yeah, it really if you maintain a positive frame of mind. I just watched a comedy set recently, something on that was on the social media reels, and no, it was a little YouTube video, and it was the thing where they convinced the audience to just be silent through the whole act.
Oh my God.
to not of this next comedian that was going to come on. I know.
Come on.
and they did, and he handled it like a champ. I mean, like you felt for him, he was a pro. He handled it like a pro.
Yeah.
And at some point, he even called it out. He's like, are you guys? Did you guys just make a pact? Like, and but anyway, yeah. Well, all right. You guys ready to do a song or
Well, what do you have the footage you want to share?
Yeah, let's do that. Sure. Which one do you want to start with?
We can do the one without music, without singing.
Okay, let's do. So that's this one. Let's go. All right. I should have this queued up. Boom.
Walmart. I went to Walmart. And everything is
hang
smart
on,
these
guys.
days.
Hang on. I got the thing. I don't know why it doesn't want to. Oh, I know exactly why. Actually, give me 1 second. I don't have. It's gonna do this, and then we're gonna switch to the right thing. Okay. Here we go.
I went to Walmart, and everything is smart these days. I accidentally bought a smart scale. You got one too? They got the smart scales. I didn't know it was a smart scale until I got home. And I stepped on the scale to weigh myself. And the scale said, uh-huh. The scale said, uh-huh. You shouldn't have ate them donuts. So I took that scale back to Walmart. Because you're not going to live in my house and talk to me any kind of way. All right?
That's a great line.
Thank you.
That's a really nice line.
That was in Somerville at the old trolley. Is it the old trolley theater?
Okay, the trolley, the trolley pub or trolley, whatever it is.
No, old trolley
theater.
Theater, yeah.
Okay, I haven't been to either one. The trolley pub. That's a real thing though.
Okay.
I think it is.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Old trolley theater. What's that like?
Oh, I love that room. It's right across the street actually from the place that we have the Clean Comedy show. It's on Trolley Road. So it's right there.
Okay.
Down the street. But yeah, they do comedy shows pretty much every week or so.
Okay, let's talk real quick about just local comedy and like what are some of your favorite venues? What do you think?
That is
about
one.
comedy?
The Old Trolley Theater is one. We don't really have many here, but I do a lot of private events.
Okay.
So I don't know. If I had to name one, it would just be that Old Trolley Theater is one of my favorite places to perform. Yeah.
Let me ask you about Atlanta because I see you getting out to Atlanta a bit.
Mm-hmm.
What draws you to Atlanta? Do you have history there in Atlanta, or you just wanted to see that city, what's going on with you and comedy in Atlanta, or what you're doing in Atlanta?
Well, there's a nice comedy scene there in Atlanta, Georgia. But I also used to live there for about 2 years.
Okay.
I wasn't doing comedy. I was pursuing music, my musical dreams. But I always would pass. They have the Punchline there in Atlanta, and I would always pass it and said, I want to go in there and do that. So it was still on my mind, but I was doing music. But yeah, the comedy scene in Atlanta is very good. They have at least 2 major comedy clubs. They have the Punchline and they have the Atlanta Comedy Theater. So I've never been to the Punchline. I think that's more of a mainstream one. But then the Atlanta Comedy Theater, where I usually go, that one is more urban, So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but most of the shows that I've done there, they're mostly showcase events. You go and kind of showcase your talent to kind of get you to another level or whatever you want to do there.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about. We mentioned it earlier, White Choices, and maybe we could just talk a little bit about that experience producing that show. And this was that was a first for you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we did. I did actually kind of produce the show, but it's not like I really.
Yeah. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah. I helped with certain things. Yeah. My title was marketing director.
Yep.
But as I mentioned, the producer had to go away and some more tasks fell on me. What was the question though? I just wanted to get that straight.
Yeah, just like the experience of being involved with a stage play, that kind of production. What drew you to that? How you got involved? What the experience of doing that, was it a fulfilling experience? You learn things from it. Maybe I can.
Yeah, it's a lot to that. I have a love for acting as well. I won't say that. I was going to say I'm not so much of a technical actor, but I kind of am.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do love acting as well. When I lived in Atlanta, I was going to be in a stage play. We practiced for it a little bit. That was my first experience with theater, but it didn't happen, but it kind of gave me some knowledge. So when I moved back to South Carolina, maybe 2016, I met Lady in White Productions and Samilia Adams and Queen Atterbury. And then I auditioned we did a show called Big Mamas, the musical.
Okay.
And we have that coming up again. So that's another thing. But that was my first stage play I was actually in. So learned a lot there. Was definitely nervous, scared. I did another one with them called Real Woman Blues. And so now we're doing, and then we did White Choices. I wasn't in White Choices. I helped on behind the scenes with White Choices. So yeah, I learned a lot. A lot of things that I thought were harder. Being more closer to putting it together, it was like, oh, okay, and I like this. That's White Choices kind of showed me that producing was something that I could really maybe get into. It kind of opened my eyes to that. But looking back, I've always kind of produced things. Growing up in church, I was my youth leader for like a few years, and I had to come up with events, for the youth. So I've been doing that. That's like another thing that I do is producing. So, but White Choices really showed me like, yeah. Because we had that interview that I produced.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big deal, and you came and did sound for that. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I do like producing too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting whole experience to get to see how y'all did that, and it was really cool.
Yeah, and that stuff came natural to me. So when I had to look back and kind of realize it was producing, if you understand what I'm saying, it was like,
yeah,
I'm just getting this done. But when looking back, I'm like, oh, I produced that. I directed that interview.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you did. Yeah,
looking back at it,
yeah,
I understand what I did.
Yeah, that was a fun experience.
Mm-hmm.
That was. I mean, I don't know. I don't really have. There's not really a lot I can say there. Like in terms of, it was fun to watch all the dynamics.
Yeah,
I
it was
guess I
nice.
could say that. It was really fun to watch everybody's dynamics and the interviews and how. Yeah, that was really cool. The play itself was really cool, and that was another really cool local production. That a lot of local people pulling together, putting their time in,
right,
and putting something on that I thought everybody did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really good. I thought I haven't been to a local stage performance before, but for me, I was impressed. It surprised me with how good everyone performed,
mm-hmm.
and sort of the genuineness and the motivation. Everyone seemed very
right.
excited to be part of it, and I really enjoyed it. What about you? Maybe you can tell a little bit about that. And
so even that's how I met, the band Eugene.
Yeah.
So we kind of become a family doing that. Everyone, the cast, the musicians. We don't just leave it there on the stage for the production. We kind of walk away as friends. So yeah, it was a good experience. These are people that you now have in your corner. So yeah.
Right on. Any other projects, like any other shows or your favorite projects, any other things that you've worked on that you kind of just think of, that's one of your favorite things you've done?
It probably would be the Clean Fun comedy show.
Okay.
That's something I never, it just kind of happened. Like I said, it wasn't something that I was aspiring to do. It just happened. And then when it was a success, I was like, wow, and getting the good feedback from everyone. So that I'm very proud of what we've done, what I've done with that.
Right on. All right, let's ask what let's see. I'll ask this question: is there a method or pattern to how you write jokes? It's kind of like totally
okay.
Out
yes,
of left field.
Yes,
but
yes, because.
Or you don't need to share your secrets. You don't need to share your secrets. If you don't want to share your secrets.
Stand-up comedy is a skill. So it's not a secret. I mean, you can't be Deleta just like I can't be Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
But there are rules, You can say a statement, but it wouldn't be a joke necessarily. So there are rules. So a joke needs to have a punchline.
Yep.
So that's a method. That's but there are a lot of little tricks there. I don't know.
I guess I was curious to ask the question because, like, one of the most common questions that we get as musicians is, how do you write a song? Right? It's like,
okay,
what's your inspiration for writing a song? Do you start strumming a guitar first? Does the melody come first? Does the lyrics come first? And so, I guess I was
nice
curious.
Nice way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, I'll say that most of my jokes are the exaggerated truth.
Okay.
Which is probably true for a lot of comedians. So it's things that happen in your life, but you just kind of, and it could be happy or sad. It could be a sad thing that happened, but you saw, with your comedic eye, you saw something kind of, oh, that's kind of funny, looking back on it. So you like, oh, this is something here. So it kind of starts with your life. For me, it does kind of start with my life.
Okay. So just like you see something weird on a billboard or something, and then it like gets you churning, or
yeah, that could be. It could be. There could be inspiration from anything. Yeah, but a lot of my comedy currently comes from my life.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's where is even as I'm trying to build and grow as a comedian, a lot of it is coming from my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question I got here is, what are your plans and ambitions as of now? Do you have anything? Yeah.
I would love to be a full-time comedian or full-time entertainer. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you feel like? I'll just throw this out. Do you feel like? Do you feel like that's something that you could do in Charleston? Do you feel like Charleston has enough scene? Do you feel like Charleston's a good place to kind of get your roots, get things, kind of get, I don't know, hone your skills, and then you're looking to shift somewhere else, or what? Yeah.
I don't know. Charleston may not be the best place for comedy. But if I was to live anywhere, you don't want to just stay in that place. Unless you're in New York, they have comedy like probably 24 hours. I don't know. That's true. But outside of that, if I was in, even if I was in New York, I still would want to come to the South and try my jokes out there, So wherever you are, you don't want to just stay in that one spot. You want to test it out.
For sure.
So, yeah, that is true for me too. But I think my roots would be, I think it would be still in the South, I think. But I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, I don't know.
That's cool. There's an interesting comedy scene here. I do think.
Yeah.
There really is a scene, and there's some good comedy here.
We got a new comedy club coming up too.
Oh really?
Yeah, Wits In.
Oh okay. I've heard.
Have you seen that in North Charleston?
I feel like I've seen the name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jennifer McKnight says White Choices was an amazing production. Hilarious.
Hey Jennifer.
Yeah. Okay. Wits End. So I performed once, or twice, or three times at I think 3 times.
Oh, 3 times.
The Sparrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the guy that was producing those shows, he's opening up the new comedy club.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where I first did comedy, at the Sparrow.
Okay. That's a cool place to do it. That's a phenomenal open mic.
Oh yeah.
That's I lived in LA for a while.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I lived in LA for like 4 years, something like that. And that's how I got kind of doing music, because I just started going to all the open mics. And
nice.
And then some of the open mics would do comedy, and there were in particular a few that were like almost all comedy. And I remember, it's funny, I don't know, like when I first got there, I got to this one open mic at this place called the Library. And I was like, oh man, I'm in LA. And this time, so, okay, you didn't know I was in LA. So a little bit of my story, was, I don't know, long story short, at one point in time, I worked a full-time job at the Tennessee Lottery for a year. And that was kind of like the culmination of, I don't know, trying to fit into society, and then finally did that. And I didn't really fit into society. I didn't really want to do this stuff. But I was like, okay, fine, I'll get a job. And I got this job. And I worked all sorts of different jobs. But like I worked for Walmart doing oil changes. I did all these different kinds of things. But then I kind of like got a real job, right? And I worked for the Tennessee Lottery in a cubicle. And then I just couldn't do it. I saw the people walking from their cars to the office in the morning, and I was like, man, if I'm doing that for 30 more years, then I'm gonna be like struggling to get from my car to the office, And I was just like,
yes,
I can't. I that's not me. I can't do that. There's no way I can't do that. And then there was all this drama in the office. So I said, long story short, and then I get sidelined. But so I went out and taught kite surfing in the Outer Banks, and then I drove out in LA and just lived in my car and started doing music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then somebody there ended up letting me stay in their old carriage house garage, and let me turn that into a studio completely for free.
Nice.
And then and so then I was just plugged into the open mic scenes there. So when I first got there, I'm in my Honda CR-V, and like I'm I'm in LA, man, and this is right, and it's like, I just thought, this is crazy. I'm really here in LA. This is the big city, you know, and I go to this place called the Library. I'm like, man, this is real LA comedy, man, you know, and I go there, and at the time I was like, sort of like, wow, but I didn't realize that most of them sucked.
What?
Like, most of them sucked. Most of them weren't very good, you know. But at the time I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. They're really. And then eventually you get perspective on what the Library actually is. And so I don't know, the scene, the LA scene. It's an interesting scene. But in all the time that I was out there, I didn't see an open mic that was run as well as this one here in Charleston is.
Yeah.
I think this it's really cool. I think sometimes, you know, for comedians or creative people in cities, and like in smaller cities, if you haven't got out to like some of these other cities, I just always feel like that's some of the value that I can try to spread is some of you guys have really nice resources right where you are, and like really cool opportunities right where you are, and you don't really know it so I just think that that open mic is a really cool open mic.
Nice. Yeah.
And so that was the first place that you ever performed, was the Sparrow.
But that was the only place I knew that was doing comedy.
Yeah.
So
There's kind of just the Sparrow and then Tin Roof.
Yeah.
Right, at this point, is there anywhere else?
I produced I started a room, a clean. It's called Try Clean Comedy open mic. We're kind of on hiatus at the moment, trying to get the right days together. But we will do it on Sunday evenings. In West Ashley at a Jamaican restaurant. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, is what Jamaican restaurant?
Taste of the Islands.
Taste of the Island. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think another one.
What's another one? That's the only one I know in West Ashley.
Well, yeah, I think it is. We're a big fan of that. The one in North Charleston.
Caribbean Delight. That's one.
Is that what it is?
I mean, I don't want to be name dropping and
yeah.
not getting paid for it.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I'm joking.
But there's some good Jamaican restaurants.
Yeah.
There's a good Jamaican.
Yeah, but there are some other open mics that are coming around as well. Yeah. There's some other ones as well.
Okay. Okay. Have you bombed? Have you ever bombed?
What is bombing? And
I don't know. Okay.
Is it where people don't laugh, or is it where your jokes suck?
I can tell you.
Or are those the same thing?
I bombed. I got kicked out. I got kicked out.
What?
On my third time doing comedy. I got kicked out.
I think you talked about that. It was offensive, right?
Yeah, they thought it was offensive. Yeah.
Okay, so I've never gotten booed. I've never gotten kicked out. You know.
Yeah.
But there are some silent moments, you know, sometimes, and that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough. But there's a lot of things that some places. Well, I've heard you should never blame the audience. That is a rule of thought. But sometimes you have to blame the audience, and then sometimes you have to blame the room. Sometimes you have to blame the producer. There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, in a lot of private shows that I do, I noticed that you have those round tables, right? Okay, if you have round tables, people are sitting all around the table. Okay, so somebody isn't going to be looking directly at me, you know. So in those situations, I don't like. Sometimes those rooms can be very hard. I try to tell the producer to make sure that they are sitting, facing the performance area. So, but I've had moments where I'm like, what's wrong with y'all? Because I told these same jokes like my last show, and they were like falling out the seats. And y'all are like, you know, so you have to kind of know what's going on. Like, you have to know that it could be you. Like, I don't feel jokey all the time, you know, but I still have to, if someone's paid me to come tell jokes, I have to go tell jokes. So it could be you having a bad day, or it could just be this is not right for comedy, you know, or this is weird. So I've had a lot of situations.
So I think that's a fantastic thing for like any like people that are wanting to get into performance is that, because it's like how do you process feedback is kind of a way I think about that, and it's like that's one of the hardest things in the world to do, is to understand when it's you and when it's somebody else, but you got to know, and because you got to be able to assess those things correctly, and so yeah, what's that experience like for you, and how do you do that? Because if you get to the point where you're like, if you always try to blame, the audience, or you and it's you're just gonna, you're never gonna get anywhere. You're just gonna bomb over and over, or you're always gonna run into that wall. But yeah, so how do you, and then when you need to hold other people accountable, like sometimes there's people in positions that like they've been doing it for a long time, right? And you're like, because they've been doing it a long time, the natural thing to think is they know what they're doing.
All right.
But sometimes they don't, or sometimes
It's
they
tricky.
don't.
It's tricky.
Yeah. So
So as a comedian, you get the feedback. Let's just say this is a perfect. The producer did his job. The room has been warmed up, with a good host. Okay, so now they're ready. They're excited at the beginning of the show. They're laughing at the host.
Yep.
All right. So now it's your turn. Or maybe it's another comedian in front of you. Yeah. They laughed at that comedian. Yeah. Now it's your turn. Okay. Well, I was going to go a certain route, but it's still tricky. It's just tricky. But I will say, because they can laugh at all that and still not laugh at you for a variety of reasons. So I won't go that route. So it's still tricky. Yeah. But for me, I have those situations, but it's far and few in between. You want to be getting laughter more than not. So that's a good guideline to go back. Am I getting laughter more than I'm not getting laughter? Then that's a problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah. If you're getting like, I think if you're getting less or no laughter more than you're getting laughter.
If I do 10 shows, they are great, or even A+ or B, A+, A-. And then I do one show and it's like, well, what's wrong with this event?
Yeah.
Then I do another show and it's back up high. I do the next 5 shows, it's up high.
Oh, okay. I see.
So that mix, it needs to be a balance. Yeah.
Okay. So you see if you're consistently hitting a certain level of performance, and then one kind of drops off, then probably that had something to do with that particular.
Then you evaluate what could have went wrong. I audio record every show, so in that instance, and I've never had an event or never had a set where it just completely silence. I've had situations where some jokes where I expected more, didn't get it, and then I've had times when I listen back at my audio, I was like, oh, I said that too quickly. I said that too fast. So you can. There are different ways to kind of see what's going on there. Yeah. That's you got to be honest with yourself. You just got to be honest with yourself.
I think I realized why I bombed. At first I didn't realize it, and then I realized it. And I don't really want to say it, but I realized it, and so that was a learning experience for me for sure. Yeah,
just realizing and learning, that's good. Yeah. So you won't do that again, I guess not.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I got too confident because I did a set like the week before or whatever, and I just nailed it. And it was just awesome. Like I felt like I was already a comedian. I just felt like I just nailed it, And I had like at least half of the room at a comedy open mic, where people might. It's not the same kind of thing. I had at least half the room just dying. Like they were. I just really. I nailed them. I just crushed it. And so I got cocky, I think.
I'm sorry. This open mic you said?
Yeah. I did
were they comedians or were they audience?
Comedians and audience.
Okay, nice.
It was some comedians and probably about half, I think.
Nice.
Probably about half. And I tried some really risky content.
Yeah.
And I nailed it. I mean, in this particular case, it totally worked. Because it can go one other way or the other, I think, right? And so this time I just nailed it, and they bought in with me, and we died laughing. It was great. And then the next time, I got too forward in my thinking about what that meant, and I didn't appreciate people's sensitivities. I didn't appreciate sensitivities, and I just thought they weren't there. I thought some of these sensitivities weren't there, and I was wrong about that. And so I just bombed, and they kicked me out.
Did they boo you?
They didn't boo me. It just got silent very, very early. It got silent very early, and then I didn't really know how to recover, and so I just kept doing my material. But I had already lost so hard at the beginning that there was just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And so you opened with this joke? Was it opened with?
Yeah. I think it was like either the second line, first line, or second
Yeah,
line.
that could be a thing too. I think I may have. I feel like this is deja vu. Like I already said this to you.
Yeah.
You know, you want to get the audience on your side first, or let them into who you are first before you go into any kind of risky material.
Yeah.
They need to know that you're not. They need to know that you don't take yourself seriously, or they need to know you first before you can trust them with heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, that's on the wall over there. I've got that Jaws shirt.
Okay. Which way? Is it my right or my left?
Sorry, your left.
Okay. All right.
That shark. That was the shirt I wore on the night that I bombed, and so I just.
Why is it so long?
The shark.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's cut that out.
Yeah, it's like overlapping the.
I see it.
Yeah. But anyway, okay. Should I play the next video, or would you like to do this?
You can play the other video.
Okay,
It just kind of it's a video. It kind of shows of how I'm still trying this, adding music or adding songs into my routine. So this is a little snippet of that. Just trying to add music into and having fun with the crowd, being present and having fun.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna do like this.
Sam Cooke. You know Sam Cooke? You know Sam Cooke? Oh. Temptations, yeah. Otis Redding. We had the OJ, yeah. No, OJ? Be careful.
Did it? That's not the whole clip, right?
No, it's not.
Don't know why. I only have 15 seconds of it.
Oh, well,
I'm sorry, you guys. What the? Wait.
Well, you can go to my
YouTube
YouTube
channel.
channel.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just pull up on the YouTube. Yeah.
Well, I was telling the people out there they can
Okay.
go to my YouTube channel and look at my stuff, get me some more views.
Here, you guys, I'm gonna here. How could you guys want to close with the song? Is that what we're trying to do? Is close with the song? Is that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get this. I've got the YouTube here. I can just pull up on YouTube and I'll be able to show everyone this video.
Okay.
Just give me a second, you guys.
And I'm curious as to who we have here. You can definitely say something to me here in the chat.
Yeah, everybody that's there. We do have. I can see we got a number of different live viewers. So if you want to say anything
Or have any
to
questions?
Deleta, yeah, or you have any questions?
Easy questions.
Sorry, I might. are my questions too? I'm really heady. I'm sorry.
No, they're good. They're good.
I'm like very technical mindset. I don't know. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, anything in particular, you can drop those in the chat, and we can see those all here, and I can put those on the screen for you so you can see them. And I'm gonna try to pull up this video here. I downloaded the video earlier, and I should have checked to make sure it downloaded the whole thing, because apparently it only downloaded 15 seconds. All right, so it comes about music following comedy. All right, let's try to bring this up here. Got YouTube video.
Sam.
All right, and then let's see if we can get this up here. All right, here we go.
Sam Cooke. Yeah, you know Sam Cooke? You know Sam Cooke? Oh. Temptations, yeah. Otis Redding. We had the OJ, yeah. No, OJ? Be careful. Sam Cooke. Yeah, you know Sam Cooke? Oh, that's it?
That's it.
You know Sam Cooke? That was the one. Where did you go just now?
I just I got a link.
Oh, let's see.
You want me to go to your YouTube?
Yeah, that's where I thought you were going, to the YouTube.
Or I'm on your YouTube for like a YouTube short.
Yeah, I think it's a short, but it's longer than that, I think. Let's see. I could have sworn it was longer than that. Or maybe it's on Facebook. But I think that's fine. I mean, but you can definitely go back to anyone that's watching. They can go back and bless my YouTube page with
Yeah.
some views.
Yeah, light up the YouTube page.
Yeah.
Everything, it really is the more the engagement you get on anything, it just helps it. So anybody, like, if you want to help Deleta out or me, you can just like things, throw comments, and it just helps push the stuff out there and get other people to see it.
All right. Hey,
It really
Steve.
does. Even if you just say something as simple as just like, love it, or that's awesome, or even just like you could type a bunch of periods or anything.
Anything, yes. Smiley face, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you about this. This is a question. So okay. We'll ask this. So, I'm trying to think how to frame this question.
Mm-hmm.
This is not. I feel like. All right. What I want to ask about is a difference between. I honestly when I'm saying this, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't really care to offend anyone. I just like, in general, I like people that are nice, and I don't like people that aren't nice. And so, there's a lot of cultural differences in the world, and that's the way I see it. Is there's cultural differences. So when I say black comedy, I'm thinking culture, right? And so what I'm interested in asking about is differences that you see in particularly black comedy as compared to other cultural forms of comedy. And to what extent do you feel like that's the domain that you operate in, or I'm just curious to see, like, so when I ran shows, or when I ran the music for your shows, a lot of the comedy or a lot of the comedians would focus in on what I feel like are cultural things. And so I'm just curious if there's anything in particular that you feel separates that, and that maybe you can help, tell people, give some people some insight into that. Yeah.
Let's see. I'll try to attack. I'll just say what I feel. As what I was thinking as you were talking. Okay. I don't think they can see me. Can they see me?
Yeah. Let me put that back on.
Yeah. So let's see. So I think it's okay. I'll say that I think it's okay because we all different, and we all have different experiences. So, what I think is funny, and we know comedy is subjective. We already know that. But for me, saying earlier, I like to do Christian comedy, and that's my comfort zone. All right. So the things that I say in that environment, they are very much relatable to a Christian audience. Okay. People who are Christians, people who are grew up in a Christian or black Christian church, or even just a Christian church. Doesn't have to be black. So that Christian comedy is catered towards them. All right. So if you go to you said black room, in which my room is probably considered black, I guess. We have more black than we have whites that come to my show. But we do have both. So, I mean, that's okay because also that audience, that I was serving in my room, I think that audience is not really served in the comedy scene here in Charleston. So the separations, I think it's okay. There are times to come together, but then there are times to be uniquely you,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't, so for me, I think it's really interesting. Like, I don't see any problem with separation of cultures. Like, I feel like that's how I grew up. Like I feel like the United States in general is a melting pot.
Right.
I think that's one of the things that makes the U.S. so cool is that we have cultures from literally everywhere. And I truly feel like the majority of people are really open-minded towards that stuff. Mm-hmm. Like the majority of people are really open to all different kinds of cultures. Not everyone is, and I've run into some people that I feel like are like that, but I feel like I feel like that gets overlooked sometimes. Is that really is in the nature of the United States?
Yeah.
Is that we have cultures from everywhere, and they actually do like get together. Like it actually is a melting pot.
Right,
It's not. It really is. And there are other places around the world that are that way, but the U.S. is definitely that way, and there are plenty of places around the world that are not that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like a lot of times people get so hung up on the separation. But at the same time, it's like I know when I was growing up, I had actually the best way that I always think about it is like I played on a pickup basketball court. I played a ton of pickup basketball when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And in college, I played a ton of pickup basketball. And on the pickup
What is that? Pickup?
Pickup basketball.
What is that?
Just like you play basketball with random people.
Okay.
And so there was like a gym that had like four
Call
different
it street
courts.
ball.
Yeah, street ball. Street ball. So there was like a gym that had like four different courts at the college I was at. And people just separated themselves by race. You would have one court that typically would have Indians, and you'd have one court that typically had Chinese, and then you would have one court that would typically have black.
Wow.
And then you would have one court that had everyone.
Oh, really?
One court that had everyone, and that was the best court.
Wow.
That was the best court. That was the best court because that's where all the best players wanted to go. We all wanted to play together. We didn't care. We wanted to play with whoever's the best, and we just wanted to be together. And that was the best court. It was so awesome. But it still was always really interesting to me that people naturally just separated themselves, and you see that throughout any city in the U.S.
I think comfort is something that is a factor. You're just more comfortable, Even if I don't consider myself to be, I don't know if we can say that word, but the R word. But I would feel more comfortable with people that look like me.
Yeah, it's comfort, and it's
comfort.
And it's culture, because there's so many things that that you just naturally understand on a deeper level.
Right.
And natural ways that you've learned how to communicate that just make it so much easier. And so I'm not trying to make some like point about like that separation is not okay, because I feel like that's something that I feel like everyone should probably understand is it is okay.
Yeah, it is okay. To a certain extent, also go back to comedy.
Yeah,
I believe the best comedians are able to relate to a wide range of people. That last show that we had, the Clean Comedy Show, do you remember the comedian Sean Jones?
Yes.
And I mentioned this to him. I feel like his material just reached the whole entire room, and even people that wasn't there, I feel like they could have enjoyed that. My niece, she's in her early 20s, and she said she was crying laughing.
Yeah.
I had a friend that was there. He may be in his 50s, I think. He's Jamaican, like a strong Jamaican. He was crying laughing. We had some church folk up in the front, different ages, church folk. They were crazy, laughing. Yeah. So it's like we had white, we had black, and they all enjoyed that. So that's a goal of mine, to be relatable to a wide range. I have my comfort, but I want to be relatable to a wide range of people.
Okay, for sure. I was just interested in like the like I've just curious about like what the difference is, like I don't know, just like trying to understand the comedy specifically, I guess.
It's what you relate to. You laugh at something because you relate to it. So if I'm telling a joke and you're in the audience, right? And this joke may be, it can only be from my experience. My 35-year-old black female experience thus far. And it may not be funny to you because you can't relate.
No, I get it.
And relatability is a big deal in comedy. So I hope that kind of.
No, I think I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a I don't know. It's a tough subject because for cultures just in general. But I I don't know how else. I guess what I would say is I don't know how else to talk about things, and I just think overall the best thing that we can all do is just talk about things, and
Right.
because I think fundamentally like we're like everyone from all cultures. We're all just people, and like any way we can try to understand each other more,
Right.
I think that's just better. And so there's like it's like just in any way, the more that we can just talk and try to understand about different ways we see the world. Yeah, everywhere I go in the world, I feel like I don't know. I just feel that way. So it's that's just part of like what I want to try to understand is and help give people more awareness of. I don't really know. I don't know how else to like. I don't necessarily know how the best ways to frame questions. Sometimes I just don't frame things the right way, and I apologize if I do that. But I just feel like there's got to be like everyone that's working in areas like what you're working in, where you're intensely thinking about how how communication is impacted and how you relate to different people and how messages are transmitted. I feel like all of us that are working on stuff like that, we have maybe different ways that we can actually try to give insight or just help give people more understanding. And so I feel like the more that people, because the more people that have true understanding, the more everyone is. We can move towards a utopia. I don't really like that word, but I feel like the more that we all understand each other, the more we can actually move the world in a really, really good direction.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And so I think I really like trying to think about it from the angle of comedy, because comedy is so deeply like you get in. Like you really got to know your stuff. You really got to, to understand or deliver. Like some jokes can be very complex, and you really need to know a lot to understand the joke. And so I feel like comedians and people that are working in this arena, we understand things or think about things pretty deeply. And so I feel like there may be not a lot of other people that are as equipped to try to help, create bridges. And so I don't. And I'm just one random dude that doesn't have much. I don't have much. Like my area of control in the world is like kind of like this.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But I just feel like the more, if there's anything I can say to help try to spur conversations or thinking or just anything that tries to move things in a positive direction. I don't even know the right questions to ask. But anyway, that's why I asked the question.
Okay. Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That's some good stuff to kind of chew on. But I just want to leave with saying that it's not a bad. It doesn't have to be looked at as a bad thing. The separation in comedy, because you do have those comedians that are able to reach everyone, and I say everyone. I use that word lightly. Like Kevin Hart, his audience is full of a lot of different races, different backgrounds. Dave Chappelle, so they have reached those levels. And maybe that may, we all have different callings. So maybe that's their journey to do that on that level, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of different things you can see there.
I see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a question here from Jermaine and Jennifer. Those are my friends. Deleta is the best. You want to read that? I don't want to toot my own horn.
Deleta is the best clean comic that I've heard. When are you coming back to Dreamers for Monday Night Comedy?
Have you been to Dreamers before?
I haven't, no.
Is it in Monk's Corner? It's a restaurant. They do comedy there. The host was Keith D. You know Keith D? Okay. Well, he hosted one of our White Choices. He was the MC one night.
Okay. Then
so yeah. But he's retired now. But anyway, that is another nice room that we do comedy. I don't know. I should be hearing back. Sometime in the near future. I was just there in March, I think. So you got to give me some time, to do some more writing and et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I may be getting some dates soon or a date for Dreamers soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
We got Steven. I guess you got the comments there, Stephen.
Yes, Stephen Carney. Yes, he's trying comedy. He came to a few of my open mics and he performed. I've actually, I don't know if you want me to tell this or not, Stephen, but I've actually helped coach Stephen a little bit.
Awesome.
So yeah, we all have to be able to laugh at ourselves. That's what he said.
Yeah.
I agree.
And he says, Deleta is inspiring. So glad to have met her to start my journey in comedy.
Thank you, Stephen. Nice meeting you. Yeah, he's a good dude.
All right. Well, we do you think are we ready for a little bit of music?
A little bit of music. Yeah, my musician is patiently waiting. Oh,
He
so
has
our
waited very
time
patiently.
up? How much time do we have?
We got about 15 minutes.
So we're not going to sing for 15 minutes, all right? We got one little thing we're working on. And it's a Christian song. These are some words I wrote a few years ago. Are you familiar with praise and worship?
Yeah.
Yeah, praise and worship. So sometimes I'm called to do praise and worship at different churches. And I went to this one church, and they were not, kind of like when you bomb in comedy.
Yeah.
It was like a bomb. It was like a praise and worship bomb.
Oh, man.
And that is so weird because if you believe in God, you should just be worshiping. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
But it was like a praise and worship bomb.
Okay.
So I came home and it affected me. And I was like, what in the world just happened? So I began to write these words to the song we were going to do. But also I wanted to mention about the comedy we said about bombing.
Yeah.
So it used to stay with me, which I don't think I've ever bombed. I don't
Sure.
consider that, but I've had not so good experiences. But now I don't let them live with me. It's on to the next. All right. But anyway, that praise and worship, the church bomb, that's what I had, a church bomb. And so I began to write these words. I couldn't understand how these people who said that they believe and they came to church for a reason, right? I mean, you go to an event for a reason. If you go to a comedy show because you should be wanting to laugh. You go to church, you should be wanting to praise,
Yeah.
So I couldn't understand how they just were like, they were just sitting there like, all right. So I began to write these. I began to sing these words. Let me get some water. All right. Do re mi fa sol la ti do. Okay, y'all. This is something we're working on. Is the microphone good?
Yeah.
So all mistakes, take it for love. Oh, I need to look in this camera. All right. Just keep on playing, young man. My musician didn't want to be on video, but his name is the one and only Michael Elmore. I gotta catch the key. You gotta keep playing till I catch the key. I gotta catch the key. I gotta catch the key. Gotta catch the key. And I'm warming up too as I catch the key. I didn't want to wear these headphones to mess up my head, but I had to wear the headphones anyway. Had to wear the headphones anyway. Is the sound good, y'all? Speak to me. Testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I shouldn't have to tell you to stand in the presence of a king. I shouldn't have to tell you what to do to welcome him in. But if you knew him for yourself, you wouldn't need any help. you begin to praise. Oh, I mess up automatically. Just play a little bit, Michael. I want to put the words in the chat. Let's try it again. I shouldn't have to tell you to stand in the presence of a king. I shouldn't have to tell you what to do to welcome him in. But if you knew him for yourself, you wouldn't need any help. You'll begin to praise automatically. One more time. I shouldn't have to tell you to stand when you're in the presence of a king. I shouldn't have to tell you what to do to welcome him in. But if you knew him for yourself, you wouldn't need any help. But you begin to praise automatically. Automatically. Said if you knew him for yourself, you wouldn't need any help. You begin to praise automatically. So I will enter in his gates with thanksgiving in my heart, and I will enter in his courts with praise, and I will say this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice, and I will rejoice. Yes, I will rejoice, and I will enter in his gates with thanksgiving in my heart. I will enter in his courts with praise, and I will say this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice. Yes, I will rejoice, and I will rejoice. I will rejoice. Yes, I will rejoice. Yes, I will rejoice. Yes, I will rejoice. No matter what it looks like, I will rejoice. Yes, I will rejoice. Said I will enter in his gates with thanksgiving in my heart, and I will enter in his courts with praise, and I will say, this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice. Yes, I will rejoice. I will rejoice. I will rejoice. I will rejoice. Can we harmonize on that, Noah?
Yeah.
I will rejoice. You gonna go high? I will rejoice. Yes, I will. I will rejoice. I will rejoice. Can you do that? I will rejoice. Yeah. I will rejoice. Yes, I will. Will rejoice. Will rejoice. Yes, I will rejoice. For he has made me glad. I will rejoice, for he has made me glad. He has made me glad. He has made me glad. I will rejoice. He's made me glad. The Lord has made me glad. Yes, he made me glad. And I will rejoice, for he has made me glad. Amen.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Hey, shout out to everybody out there. Thank you guys for hanging out with us and watching tonight. Thank you, Deleta, for coming and being part of this. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Charles.
That's my nephew who's asleep back there.
Yeah, he got a little nap. Thank you guys again, everybody out there. Okay, before we go, do you have anything upcoming that you want to tell people about, or send people to go to certain places on the web or anything like that?
Yes, I will be starring in the stage play Big Mama's the Musical. Opening night is May 23rd. No, maybe May 24th. But yeah, just stay tuned. I'm going to be in the musical Big Mama's the Musical. I think it's May 24th. I feel bad for not having the exact date. But we have multiple nights. But I would really enjoy if you come to the opening night, May 24th. And my niece just joined. Hey, Charlize.
Charlize.
Do you know my niece?
I don't think I do.
Yeah. All right. Let me get the right date right quick. Hold on. Because I can't leave it on that note.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. And this is a Lady in White production. So the same company that produced White Choices. Jennifer, you enjoyed White Choices? Let's see what this says here. Big Mama's the Musical is going to be in West Ashley at the Pearl Theater. In West Ashley, Big Mama's. Yeah. just follow me, okay? But I believe it's May 24th is opening night. We have a variety of shows running for Piccolo Spoleto. Yeah. All right.
Piccolo Spoleto.
Starring yours truly. So please come out. We need your support.
Go out, go see it. Deleta, whatever Deleta does is awesome. Deleta, whatever. If Deleta's got her hands in it, you know it's going to be worth going to watch. So
I appreciate that.
Go check it out. Go follow Deleta. Follow her on her YouTube. Some of you are already following her on her YouTube, so just keep doing that. If you're watching on my end of things, go follow her YouTube. Check her out. If you're here in Charleston,
please
go check out her stuff, you guys. Like, she's going to be doing another one of these comedy shows. Whenever she announces it, you got to go check out this show. If you're a fan of comedy, if you're a fan of just of local stuff, you got to go see these shows. So go check it out. Go follow her so you can make sure that you stay on top of when she's doing different things.
Yes.
And
if you want information about the play, just inbox me and I'll get you some more detailed information. Okay.
Awesome, you guys. Thank you, everybody. We will see you guys next time. And thank you again, Deleta. We are out. See y'all in
Bye.
the next one. Boom. Got the thing going on. And